What Jesse say? Jesse said, that's science, bitch. What's up, guys? We're back with another video. We're gonna continue on this show truck build. If you didn't see in last video, we had pulled the axle out and whatnot. See, I got a new shop fan, had to turn it off. It blows air, but it's pretty loud. So I had to turn it off right now so I can get this, this section of the video started, get the intro, all the good stuff. But I believe what we're gonna do today is start stripping this axle of everything on it. This video may not be long, I don't know. I just know I want to, for sure, get this axle stripped of everything, get the leaf springs off, get the tie rods off and all that. Then I might go ahead and start taking some of the stuff off of the truck as well. The shocks, the drag bar and track bar, get those, disconnected from the truck. That way, everything's kind of out of the way in the front end, and I can start getting an idea of exactly what I really need to do. Probably gonna get these knuckles off as well of the axle, get the axles pulled out, and then I guess that's gonna be it for this video. Maybe it may be long, it may not be. I'm gonna try to keep it, fairly simple. There's a dragonfly in the top of my shop. I didn't know what it was, but I'm not gonna talk too much. I know I say that like in every video. I need to just hush my mouth. But of course, I'm gonna set y'all up on a time lapse just cause it's quick, and two, I'm definitely gonna have this fan running, and if I got this fan running while y'all are watching me, it's just gonna be annoying. So might as well set y'all up on a time lapse and let's get to it. All right, so we got the leaf springs off. It was a little bit of a challenge over there. I guess it kind of, I don't know, it just seized itself on there. Not necessarily seized, but it wasn't exactly easy to get off. This side came off fairly easy. Now, I don't know exactly like I said, I don't know who did this straight axle swap for them, but whoever did it, this hole where they threaded into, drilled it, that goes all the way into the differential. That goes straight into the differential. So I'm gonna have to try to keep gunk from getting in there. I'm gonna have to try to find a set screw of some sort and thread into that one. This one, I don't believe it went all the way through. I looked down in there as much as I could. It's just, I automatically had a feeling about this one. And then when I unbolted it, I seen oil and I was just like, okay, yeah. The oil was an indication that, yeah, it was drilled all the way through. So now I'm probably gonna start working on getting the tie rod off and the steering shocks, get all that off. Then we'll probably start working on getting calipers off, rotors off, getting it down to the bare axle, and then see if we can pull them axles out. I know on a Dodge, like mine, I know the axles, you can just pull them out and they should be fine. I believe that is how all front differentials are. I could be wrong. Unlike the rears, they have a locking pin in the differential itself. But we'll come across that road when we get there. So, of course, wheel bearing's gonna have to get those off as well. But I guess I'm gonna continue on doing what I'm doing and getting this axle prepped. All right, guys, had to turn the fan off. I got to do that every time because it's kind of loud and I don't want y'all to, I don't want to be screaming and everything, but of course, got the leaf springs off. I came back, showed y'all that. And then I now have the entire tie rod off. I don't have the bracket for the steering assist off. I'll show you that real quick. I don't have it off because it was bolted here, but they went ahead and also welded right here. So I'm gonna have to cut that off. But besides that, I got the tie rod off, leaf spring off. I put this bolt back in just in case this decided to flip upside down. I don't want any of that gear oil coming out because if you don't know, gear oil absolutely stinks. It took me a little bit because on that side, man, I'm telling you, that is an awesome investment right there. An air hammer, awesome investment, man. It's saves you so much time. I used it over there, came off, pretty good. Came over here, went to use it, and it kind of got into the knuckle, so I was like, dang, I'm gonna have to take this rotor off and whatnot. Well, I don't know if y'all could tell in the time lapse. I got the top one off, but let me try to get this. Well, all right, there we go. I got the top caliper mount bolt out, but that rear one is not budging, and it's already, from whoever did it, it's already kind of rounded off, and I was trying to get it off with the impact, try using the breaker bar. I don't have a very big torch. That's all I got for heat. I tried heating it up, and it didn't do nothing to it. So honestly, I might be able to get that side off. I'm gonna try to get that side off real quick. If I can, awesome. But it still leaves me with this right here. I might end up just having to take the entire knuckle out with this whole assembly and see from there. But for right now, I guess I'm gonna try to get that side off. And if I do, awesome. If not, then I'm gonna have to do the same thing over there with that side. But I guess let's see what else I can get done.
Several days later.
All right, so I got the fan running. It's just way too hot and humid to not have it going right now. So I hope y'all can hear me. I kind of did a test, if y'all can hear me. Just did a quick video with it on to see. I can hear me. It ain't bad. I hope it ain't bad like when everything gets uploaded. But anyways, for me, it is Thursday. When I was last working on this, what y'all just saw like a split second ago was Sunday. I was working on it Sunday. Well, I was met with the caliper mount bolts being stuck. I know I did the driver's side and I got one out, but the bottom one wouldn't come out. Then I said I'm gonna try the passenger side and then get back to y'all, but I never did. I kind of stopped because the passenger side is also seized up. Like, I put the impact on it and I can't get the breaker bar on it because the way that it's on my stands, if I try to lift up, it'll just, spin the axle, flip it over. So, in the time that from Sunday till now, which is Thursday, I had a mini torch. I had a mini torch that I tried using, and of course, that did not work at all. So what I ended up doing, I went to my local Lowe's, and I got this. Hopefully this works. You want to get, if you're doing something like this, if you don't have an oxyacetylene torch, which that's probably something I need to invest in, you want to get the yellow gas bottle. The blue is propane. This yellow basically stands for an oxygen type burning fuel. It just burns hotter. So probably gonna set y'all up and heat the crap out of these caliper bolts, and hopefully we can get something done with it, because they are kind of holding up some progress on me getting this axle tore down. So I'm gonna set y'all up real quick and then just go to town on these bolts with this heat. All right, be careful if you're doing something like this. Why do I say that? I wish I'd set y'all up on, like, right when I'm about to do it, I need to record instead of time lapse. I couldn't get the driver's side off just yet. If anything, I'm just kind of rounding out the bolt. But my mistake was I did something different on this passenger side that allowed me to get the top passenger side out. And what I mean by be safe is I heated it up, and then when I got ready to take it off, I tightened it up to see if it's loose or get it loose a little bit. And then I loosened it with the impact, and it popped out. Luckily, it wasn't bad. It popped, and it kind of made me flinch. And just make sure you're being safe about it, wearing safety protection. I am not, don't be me. So I'm probably gonna show y'all again. I'm gonna go ahead and heat up this bottom one and show y'all what I'm doing, and then repeat it over on the driver's side. What I did with the driver's side is I heated it up. I heated all around the casting. I didn't stay directly on the bolt like I did with over here on the passenger side. Passenger side, I just kept the heat on the bolt to see if that did anything, and it did. But also the other thing I did over there on the driver's side was I heated it up, and then I hit the bolt with WD-40, because I was trying to hope that everything was still hot around it, the casting. And then if I just cooled down the bolt real quick, it would shrink it, and then it'd come out, but that didn't work. So without, doing another time lapse or recording too much, I'm going to go ahead and heat up this other passenger bottom for a while, just heat strictly the bolt, and then I'll show y'all what I mean if it does it again. So let me do this. All right, so I've been sitting here letting this bolt heat up for quite a bit. I've just been sitting on my phone watching Facebook Reels, TikTok, and all that. Turn the fan off real quick so hopefully y'all can hear me. But like I said, it's been heating up for quite a bit. Again, make sure you're wearing safety glasses and all that if you're doing this. I'll tell you what, I'll be back real quick. I'll tell you what I am gonna use. I ain't got no safety glasses in here, but I will use something just in case. All right, I'm gonna use my welding helmet. Safety first. I hope this comes off, but turn the torch off, get the impact ready, see what it does. All right, so you see there, it came off pretty easy. I'm glad it did. And like I said, I used the impact before, and it would not come off. Like I sat there and ooga-doogaed it for a while. And as you see, as it came off, the pressure released. It didn't do as bad as this one up here. This one it gave a little pop to it when it came off. But I'm happy that came off. I'm gonna come over here to the driver's side now and hopefully get this bottom one off. Hopefully the bolt ain't rounded off, because I tried using the breaker bar, if you couldn't see in the time lapse again, and I was just about to round it off. So now I'm just gonna go over here to this side real quick and heat it up again. Let's see if it comes off. All right, so I've been letting this sit here for quite some time, like quite a while. I guess without further ado, I need to go ahead and take this off and put on my welding helmet again, and then see if it zips off. I hope it does. So obviously it's not, apparently. I really don't know what else I mean, there's probably one else thing I can do. So I just realized in those last two clips, you really couldn't see my face. I was kind of bending down to see if I could get my face in the video, but obviously not. It don't matter. You still saw what I was doing. That's the important part. You saw what I was doing. But anyways, what I'm talking about is the one thing that I can do. It'll probably have to wait until who knows when, probably this coming weekend. I just kind of took some time out of my morning to mess with this. I really didn't want to. I've really only been working on this on weekends, you want to be honest. I've got to start doing throughout the weekdays. But with that said, the one thing that I can do is get a tool for the air hammer. The tool is basically, it's a, goes in the air hammer like regular, but it has a anvil on the end of it so you can put a socket on there. And then it's got like a hex piece around it so you can put a wrench on it. Basically what that does is, while you're sitting there air hammering on the bolt, I guess you could say it's like breaking it up or something. You're basically hitting it while trying to turn it. It's got the same effect as an impact. It's just, how do I put it? Instead of the impact, the impact only has rotational force. The impact on the air hammer is like it's punching the bolt into it while you're also spinning. So it's kind of freeing up the threads. I don't know how to explain it really. I know it's worked. I've seen it done. I've never used one before. This is probably the first time I ever do it when I get it. But got the passenger side done. That's a plus. So I can kind of tear down the passenger side while I wait on working on the driver's side. So with that said, I'm gonna take apart this passenger real quick, take the rotor off, take the caliper mount off, and probably I'm gonna get the wheel bearing off and whatnot. We'll try to get that side taken off first now, and then I'll come back whenever I get that tool and revisit the driver's side. So I hope I do that. It may be when the next clip might be me coming back with the new tool. Who knows? Nah, I think I'm gonna do it. Let's see. All right, so it seems I did go ahead and take it apart. That's all done on the passenger side. All that's left is I gotta get the ball joints out of the ears. If you're doing this, as a project on your own, like not even just building a lift, but if you're taking off the knuckle to remove ball joints, you gotta remove wheel bearings and all that. So I think I should go in depth, more of what exactly I'm doing, unless you already know. But I mean, to go over a few things real quick, say you got the caliper mount still on. You see there's only 2 bolts that hold on the caliper mount. You take that off. Take the rotor off, that comes off, and then you got an axle nut that's holding that axle in. Take that off, and then on these front axles, you can't do it on rear axles because they're held in by a pin, but only the front axles, because like if you got to change out U-joints and whatnot, you pull the actual axle out of the housing. I couldn't just pull mine out. I took a pry bar, got it behind the flange where it just about goes into the housing. I just kind of took a hammer, tapped it a little bit, and it came out pretty fine. I guess rewind a little bit. Before you get that axle out, you got to take the wheel bearing off. After you get that axle nut off, you got 4 bolts. You see, you got one here, one here, one here, and one here. Take those 4 off, and then kind of like, if you're reusing your wheel bearing, you want to be very careful on tapping the plate of the wheel bearing to get it off. If anything, if you're reusing it and you want to be careful, just kind of give it a light tap until you see one side just kind of pry open, and then you want to work a pry bar or a flathead around the edge instead of just hitting the absolute crap out of it. Now, if you're replacing it, by all means, hit the crap out of it if you want. But then you're left with just the knuckle. Of course, if you saw, all you gotta do is remove the 2 castle nuts with the cotter pins in, remove those, and then if you don't have like an air hammer, what I used, you can get a pickle fork, that's pretty cheap, or if you just got a hammer, it's gonna take quite a few hits. If you don't have a pickle fork and all you got is a hammer, you can just beat the absolute crap out of the side of the knuckle. Just, of course, make sure you don't damage anything. But in my case, I've got an air hammer, and that is just an absolute game changer. Took me a minute with the air hammer just because I had to let my air compressor build up pressure. I didn't have anything. I didn't have any pressure built up. But once that pressure built up, oh yeah, it did some work. And then the knuckle just literally, it flew off. But yeah, I guess there's the passenger side for right now. Like I said, I got to get a tool for the driver's side. Hopefully that works. So I guess the next clip you'll see of me, I'll have the tool. When that will be, I have no idea. So let's see.
Tomorrow.
All right, so it is now Friday night. I just got off of work at 8 o'clock. It's like maybe 8:30, 8:45, something like that. I don't live too far from my job. But anyways, earlier this morning, which is of course Friday, I went and got these breaker set. Like I said, this is what I was mentioning. Put in an air hammer and you can attach your socket to it and turn it with a wrench and all that good stuff. I hope y'all can hear me because it is raining and I have an air compressor going for the air hammer. So I'm gonna go ahead and break open this right here. Harbor Freight, great prices. I love it. Like every tool I got is Harbor Freight. Not sponsored. Wish I was. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this open, get everything set up, start getting the torch on the bolt and getting that heated up. That way I have everything I can throw at it and hopefully get this bolt out. I get this bolt out, I can then get the knuckle and everything off of this side like I did the passenger side. And then I can honestly start cutting some of the stuff off. I might wait on that. I might, get it all off first and then come over here to the truck and start getting the shocks and stuff off. I might do that because I kind of want to just get everything taken apart and on a fresh slate, and then we can go from there. So let me get this real quick, everything set up, and I'll get back to y'all. All right, it should be pretty hot. I went ahead, I got my welder helmet on for safety, and I'm just gonna see what we can do. I'm at a loss for words. I really don't want to go drilling and cutting and all that because I just really don't want to. But I mean, if it's unfortunately the route that I have to take, then, you know, I mean, I'll take it. But I believe I'm just gonna try. I'm gonna do what I can off camera. And if I finally get to a point where it's either getting loose or it just ain't coming out, then I'll probably resort to cutting or something. But as of right now, I'm just gonna see what I can do. So I didn't get it off, as you can see. I mean, I tried a little bit. I didn't try too much after turning the camera off. I just came up with the idea after I got it off or turned the camera off. I tried one more time with I tried with the impact just to see if it came loose or anything. So, but after realizing that I do have the top one out, I just went ahead. I was able to beat right here with my little sledge to at least be able to disassemble all this, get the rotor off. Hopefully I can. And start just disassembling all of that. And then if I get the knuckle off as a whole, because as you see back there, I mean, that's where it is. If I get this rotor off and everything took apart, I'll be able to drill through the backside without, trying to do guesswork, because I don't want to mess up into the knuckle. If I start drilling, I don't want to go and mess up this knuckle. I'd rather mess up this because it's a little more easier to replace this than it is that. Not saying I am going to mess it up, but if it comes to that, situation. So I guess I'm going to do what I can to get all this taken apart. And then I guess I'll get back to y'all. Y'all seen how I did it over there. So I don't think I'm going to record this, but I'll be back. And that's why I'm a genius. I'm a genius. At least, I'm glad it didn't pop though, because I did not have my helmet on. I'm glad I was recording that. I'm glad I was. That's what I'm talking about. That was science. What Jesse say? Jesse said, that's science, bitch. But anyways, I'm just so happy that worked. Essentially what I did was I put the torch on the bolt head, kept the heat centralized on the bolt itself, If you're heating up that bolt head, of course, it's going to go through the bolt itself and, it's going to mainly heat that up. But it's also going to heat up that knuckle. So everything, if you heat something up, it expands. Well, while heating up the bolt head itself, while that is expanding, the knuckle itself, that where the hole is, that's expanding as well. So everything's somewhat, it's expanding together, but the bolt itself is expanding, more because, like I said, I got the heat centralized on the bolt head itself. I let it sit there for about 10 minutes, good 10 minutes, let it heat right back up. I mean, before all this too, I threw some WD-40 around everything. Try to let that soak in, hopefully. I hit it with the impact, hit it with the air hammer with the breaker, tried using, I mean, nothing was working at all. So that's when I resorted to this, heating it up and all that. But back to what I was saying was, I then turned the torch to the knuckle itself. I got the heat off of the bolt head, and then I let the knuckle heat up just for a little bit. It's still hot, of course, but I centralized that heat on the knuckle now. So while the knuckle in that hole that the bolt is going through is still expanding, I took a bottle of water. I took a bottle that I had just laying around, filled it up with water, poked a hole in it so I can control the water outflow. And then as you saw, I poured water just on the bolt head, nothing else. I didn't want to get it on the knuckle itself, but I ended up just spraying it, kind of in a little circle around the bolt head. In theory, what it did was and I kept the torch on while doing this, so it kept heating up that knuckle, so I lost no heat, at least throughout the knuckle. So as I sprayed that water on the bolt head, of course it's cooling down the bolt head, but it's also cooling down as it goes through the bolt itself. So if you're heating up the knuckle, that hole's still expanding, but when you sit here and you rapidly cool that bolt, it wants to shrink. It's science. So what that basically did was it pulled those threads, or it pulled the whole bolt away from the hole itself, kind of freeing it up. And that's when I came in with the impact. So one thing that I did notice though, when I was doing, before I even decided to start heating it up again, I'll show y'all real quick. So I don't know if I told y'all or not, but I was hitting right here. Yeah, I did, because I told you I was going to remove that. Well, unfortunately, it came up. I couldn't get this off without this, no matter how far it went down. It basically ended up binding this, and I wasn't able to move that. So anyways, while I was hitting this down, I realized that the bolt head was not moving. So what that told me was this was unthreading. The threads are on the caliper mount itself, as you can see. Threads are here. All that the caliper or the knuckle has is just a hole. That's literally all that is. It's a hole straight through there, basically, to mount it up. I noticed that this would move, but the bolt did not. So what that told me was it was free from the threads. It was already free from the threads. The main issue was the hole itself. So it must have got, rust welded or stuck or whatever inside this hole. But, technically what I did still should have worked. Heating up this, cooling this rapidly, it should have pulled the bolt. It should have shrunk the bolt from the hole and basically freed everything up. And as you can tell, that's what it did. This is still somewhat warm. I mean, I can hold it a little bit. So I'm just so glad that worked. So now I'm going to get this side of the knuckle to report, and then we'll probably move on to getting these ball joints off. Got to get these ball joints off to really complete. And then I need to drain the diff oil. Probably should have done that first, but I mean, it ain't gonna hurt nothing. So let me tear all this apart, and then I'll get back to y'all when I get ready to take the ball joints out. So I've been sitting here trying to ratchet this one and noticed I was making no progress whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure that this whole ball joint is just spinning, which is awesome. So now I'm probably going to, I need to buy a split breaker, a nut splitter. I wonder if Harbor Freight has one. I don't know. I'm gonna see what I can do about this. I was just sitting here ratcheting for a while. I'm like, man, I ain't making no progress. It's like, great. So I went ahead and moved this one. So I guess I'm gonna see what I can do with this one real quick. That's how you do it. It's off. So, change of plans. I'm gonna end the video here just because it is probably getting very long and I don't wanna make like hour videos. I mean, if you like them, you know, let me know. But I wanna try to keep them somewhat shortish, you know, in the 30 to 40 minute range marks maybe. Like keep it around 20, 30, I'd like to. Just cause some people, they sit here and they look at an hour-long video and they're like, ah. But definitely, like I said, I'm making this into parts as much as I can. So with that said, I basically have the axle tore apart. The only thing I got left is ball joints to take off, and then all the mounting brackets that were welded on for the leaf spring conversion, or straight axle conversion for this truck. I believe I'm gonna tackle that tomorrow, which is Saturday. I hope I do it. I know I have a tendency to say I'm gonna do it tomorrow and end up not doing it for another week or so. But I definitely plan on working on this over the weekend, trying to get this axle more and more cleaned up, get at least the stuff taken apart from the truck. I mean, the stuff from the truck really ain't a big issue. It's prepping this axle and then getting measurements for everything. I gotta get the rear lifted up to level with the front at where it's gonna, you know, sit at ride height. And then I still gotta do the rear. Like I said, that's staying leaf springed. I just gotta make custom blocks for it. Just the main focus right now is the front, because that's where a lot of, you know, time is going to be taken up into, because I got to do measurements, got to, you know, do a truss, I got to do a whole bracket, to just a lot of stuff for the front. The rear is just, I got to make a custom block and get it leveled with the front. So I'm gonna end that video here. The video is just me, you know, taking apart this axle as much as I can. Hopefully we can, I know right now it's somewhat boring because we're taking apart a lot of things, but once we get into actually getting to build the stuff, cutting out the trusses, cutting out all the brackets on the laser or plasma cutter, that's where the fun really begins, and I cannot wait to hit that point. But like I said, I'm gonna end the video there. I'm not gonna rant too much, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.